All right, we have Craig Wright versus Copa in the courtroom. Also, ENS and a major partnership, and a very, very sad day for Binance. These are the stories that we're going to talk about today. If you guys enjoy these updates on the daily, I appreciate it if you hit the like button and hit subscribe. Let's get right into it. Craig S. Wright. He's the guy behind BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. He's also the guy who for years has been not only claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, he's been suing people, trying to sue people when they dispute this opinion. And now it seems this is all coming to a head with this most recent court appearance with Craig Wright versus COPA, which is a crypto patent alliance. And COPA is accusing Craig Wright as using forged documents to try to prove that he wrote the Bitcoin white paper. In fact, this is the most telling thing of all, is that the independent auditor who was the expert brought on by Craig Wright has actually revealed that the documents provided by Wright have been forged. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And he's trying to, probably again for a 4th time, but COPA is trying to not even allow him to bring even more documents that are probably forged into this new court case. Is this going to be the once and for all moment where Craig Wright can no longer pursue this effort of trying to get the world to believe that he is Satoshi? Now, here's the thing. Early on in my cryptocurrency journey, I dove deep into the origins of Bitcoin. I learned all about the cypherpunk movement and the different individuals that attributed their learnings, their expertise towards what would eventually become known as Bitcoin. I also know quite well that Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that may be, went through extreme efforts to protect their anonymity. There's just something about Craig that rubbed me the wrong way, that he is trying so hard. And with the documents he's producing, they are, falling short to say the least. Trying to prove that he's the guy behind Satoshi so that everyone would understand that Satoshi and what he built next, which is Craig Wright is asserting to be BSV, that's the real Bitcoin. Well, I'm of the opinion that the real Satoshi would just build something better for the sake of it being better, and it would prove itself over time, much like Bitcoin has, instead of trying to influence the success of any cryptocurrency based on someone's identity specifically. That's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. I'm sure I don't have to ask. I'm sure I'm going to be reading a lot, and I look forward to it. There's another big partnership happening in the crypto space between ENS, the Ethereum name service, and GoDaddy. Now, for those of you who have a memory from this past summer, you'll still remember that they're still in a lawsuit. ENS is still in a lawsuit against GoDaddy when GoDaddy prematurely released their domain that was serving the Ethereum name service very intrinsically. Their domain name was eth.link. GoDaddy had prematurely let this one go to be purchased by a third party. And that really, really messed up things for how ENS was working, and not to mention how information was flowing and how they could validate that information coming about the ENS was actually verified and legitimate. It threw a wrench in their function for sure. But despite all that, and despite that lawsuit is still ongoing, ENS has now partnered with GoDaddy. Now listen, this is cool, but here are my warnings, okay? It's cool because now if you have a domain name, a DNS, on GoDaddy, you can assign that domain name as an Ethereum wallet. That means that if you own a website on GoDaddy, if you own a domain name being hosted there, you can use your domain name as your wallet address for people to deposit funds into, which is pretty freaking cool. But this is something that I've learned about ENS back in 2017 when it was first released, is this concept of privacy and traceability. Because if you are a public entity and you are now known to have connections with this particular wallet, you can kiss your privacy goodbye. It's going to be very easy for people to trace not only how much money is coming into that wallet, but also where those funds are going. And it could open you up to even more phishing attacks if people want to try to manipulate you into giving away access to that very public and maybe successful cryptocurrency wallet. Speaking of privacy, as I mentioned in the start of this video, it's a very sad day for Binance, but it's even more, I think it's a pretty sad day for Monero as well. Binance has delisted Monero. You might remember Binance earlier was trying to say, in order to keep us in good standing with regulators, we will need to be collecting data and reporting this data to regulators about Monero, like network activity, the supply, and transactions coming into and out of Binance and Monero, whatever they're dealing with. Monero is a privacy coin, and so I think that information cannot be made readily available, and as such, cannot be regulated. It does not lend to the transparency that regulators are demanding from the activity of cryptocurrencies when it comes to your activity with those cryptocurrencies. So unfortunately now, it has become much more difficult for the mainstream type of people who use centralized exchanges to get their hands on Monero. And that's very unfortunate, but it does, yet again, say a lot about the privacy features of Monero as well. So for me personally, Monero is my privacy coin of choice, and it stood the test of time. And when it comes to a privacy coin, you want to get lost in the crowd. You want it to be a big crowd. You don't want it to be a crowd of like 2 people that you're trying to be anonymized within. So for Monero, I think this is great. I'm going to be doing more research on where you can actually be purchasing Monero, which decentralized exchanges have the most trading volume. I know bisq.network, which is a great decentralized exchange. It is not user-friendly, but I know from past research that the largest trading volume happening on bisq is actually between Bitcoin and Monero. So for those of you who are looking to get your hands on those and you want a new project in cryptocurrency to master, bisq.network, I highly recommend. That's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you for watching. If you want to know what coins Toby and I are holding and what percentages and when we're buying, when we're selling, and our almost daily updates on what's happening in the market, you got to check out the home of the CT Club found at learningcrypto.com. That's it for today. We'll see you later.